Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn 101. This episode is one of the most requested episodes I have ever gotten in the about 2 week history of the 101 series, and it is how to meld materia. Now that's right alongside what does Spirit Bond do, so we're going to cover both of those, how to Spirit Bond and how to meld materia. We're going to go not too in depth, but we're going to cover the basics, how you unlock it, how you use it, show you a couple of menus, and then I'll make it a nice quick video for you guys. No too long, don't watch right here. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is spirit bonding. Now, spirit bonding is something a lot of people have been asking me about. They see it on their gear. They wonder what it does. They fully spirit bond the gear, like, what does that mean? What can I do with fully spirit bonded gear? Well, when you put on a piece of gear, it starts at spirit bond 0, assuming you've never used it before. As soon as you gain experience with it, it will become bound to you. As you continue to gain experience, the Spirit Bond bar will fill up. When it hits 100%, that gear is now eligible to be destroyed, or assimilated, if you will, into materia. Yes, you will lose the gear when you assimilate it. This is to keep the crafters busy all the time, creating gear for the battle classes and other classes, essentially, to Spirit Bond and assimilate. So it's essentially a never-ending cycle of taking gear out of the economy and putting it back in. And it turns into materia. The materia it turns into is usually related to the class that you are on. Not necessarily the class you're on, but the role that that piece of gear filled. If it was a tanking piece, it'll most likely be something with parry or block, and you get the rest of the point. I'm not going to keep making examples. The assimilating menu is really easy to use, too. All you do, just press P, I believe is the default button for it on your keyboard. Just go to your actions and traits, go to your general actions, and you'll see materia assimilating, assuming you're far enough along with the story that you actually have materia assimilating on there. Once you're on there, it's very simple. It'll show you a list of your gear equipped or in your armory chest. You simply click it. If it's 100% spirit bound, it'll give you a warning that it will be destroyed. You press OK. Materia goes right into your inventory. Very, very simple. Once you have your materia, whether you bought it or assimilated it, then you need to meld it. Now, melding is a totally different process, and it might seem a little bit foreign to some people who are used to just slapping a piece of, gem onto a piece of gear. So first thing is you have to go unlock melding. Where do you unlock it? You unlock it in Central Thanalan at an area called the Bonfire. It's north of the Black Shroud, so not the Black Shroud, the Black Brush, Camp Black Brush in Central Thanalan. So here's, as you can see, there's a map right here, so you can see where it is in relation to Black Brush in Central Thanalan. Once you get there, you have to keep a few things in mind. One, you have to be on a crafting class to unlock the quest. So if you're on a battle class and you go over there, it will be locked. Otherwise, it will be unlocked. This is because you actually need to be on a crafting class to meld the gear. I don't know if you need to be a certain level to unlock the quest, because all of mine were too high really for me to test it when I went to go get the quest. But just keep in mind that once you unlock a crafting class, just get a few levels on it before you really go over there to try and get the materia melding. Once you get the ability to meld, it's actually also in your actions and traits under your general actions. It's the same place where materia assimilating was, so you know where that is at this point because you've already checked. In order to meld, there are quite a few things you have to keep in mind, however. Once you've unlocked it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can just go meld everything onto your gear. There are 4 or 5 things you need to keep in mind. The first thing is that whatever level it was required to repair it, it'll be plus 10 levels to meld it. So that means that you're probably going to need to be significantly a higher level than the gear is in order to actually equip materia onto it. So first you have to make sure you're on the right crafting class. Check the piece of gear. It might say that you need carpenter. It might say you need blacksmith, goldsmith, weaver. It might say any of those. You need to be on that class to meld it. So you need to go level those crafting classes a little bit. It doesn't take too long, and it's a nice little extra boost to get this materia onto your gear. In order to successfully meld it, you need to be plus 10 levels over the repair. You can see it in the picture right here. I'm just going to show you this example right here. As you can see, just read it all down. You can see repair, spirit bond, things like that. And at the bottom, you'll see what level it takes to meld. Once you've met the melding requirement, there are still a few other things that you need. First, the piece of gear needs to have open materia slots. This is very simple. As you can see, they are just circles on the piece of gear. And if there's open circles without materia in them, then you can put materia into them. Obviously, you need materia itself because what are you going to meld on? And the final thing you need is called a catalyst. This is actually an item that can be obtained from gathering classes. When they're out gathering, they can gain different grades of catalysts. The different grades of catalysts really just separate, am I doing a level 1 to 10 materia meld, 11 to 20, etc., etc. So that's what the 5 grades of catalysts catalysts do. So the gatherers, the crafters, and the battle classes all really work together to make this materia thing happen. Once you have all 4 of those things, once you have the right crafting class, you have the open slots, you have the materia, you have the catalyst, you go over to the materia melding, you click it, and a little menu will come up. This menu is very well done. Again, it breaks it down to what you have equipped and what you have in your armory chest. When you click those, it'll show you a list of items that actually have an open slot, and all you have to do is click the one with the open slot that you want, that you're actually eligible to add the materia onto, and then you click the piece of materia. If you have the catalyst in your inventory, then it'll just ask you to confirm that you're going to be melting that materia on. It's very, very simple, as you can see from the screenshots. Now, things can get a little bit more complicated. Once you've messed around with this a little bit, you'll notice there's an NPC next to the NPC that unlocked materia melding for you. It's a goblin, and he actually gives you a quest to unlock forbidden melding. Quest is very simple, just meld 8 materia onto gear right in front of him. Voice crack, haha. Anyway, and once you do that, he'll finish the quest and he'll tell you how to meld gear onto it using forbidden arts. Forbidden meld is a bit of a risk. Now, when you equip materia onto your gear that actually already has slots, those all have a 100% chance of working. However, forbidden melding lets you add materia onto gear even after those slots have been filled. So essentially, if something had 2 slots, you might be able to fill it up till 4. But the extra 2 slots do have a risk involved, and they do have a bit of a restriction. One is that if you fail, because you can fail these now, the forbidden melds can be failed. If you fail, you will lose the materia and the catalyst that you use. You won't lose anything prior. And listen, that's a big deal, because in 1.0, you would lose the gear and all the previously melded materia if you failed. So that is gone. You will only lose the materia and the catalyst that you failed to attach. And that's really the big thing that you lose, but there is a restriction on it. You can't forbidden meld too much of the same stat on. Now, every piece of gear has a sort of enhancement cap, as they have come to call it, where you can't add too much of the same stat to a piece of gear. This prevents you from getting like plus 120 strength on a single piece of gear. They do that to encourage you to put different offensive and defensive stats onto the gear to really make up for maybe certain fights where you need certain stats. So that is really all there is to forbidden melding. Just keep in mind that the more gear that you're putting on, the more materia that you're slotting onto the gear, the higher your failure rate becomes. So as it might be like 45% at the third one, it might be like 25% when you try to add a 4th materia, etc., etc. And there is a cap to how many pieces of materia you can actually add. It's not an infinite number. But that is pretty much everything that you need to know for materia melding. If you want an extensive list on all the types of materia and what they do, go to the link in the description. It was provided on the lodestone. There's also a lot more details there about materia melding in case you're a little bit confused still. So I hope this video was useful to you guys. I tried to make it as short as possible. If you liked the new format, please let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, please like, favorite, subscribe, and share. It would really help me out if you did that. And also, if you would share it, that would just be really, really awesome. A lot of people have been telling me they've been finding my videos all over the place. It's really cool, and I really like the support that you guys are giving me. Also, check out my Facebook at www.facebook.com/MrHappy1227. There is a link in the description below. You can go there and ask me questions, request videos. This is actually how I got down to the materia video in the end. And it's just a really nice community. You can be a part of it, and I promise you I will do my best to get back to you as soon as possible if you go on there. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you enjoy your Final Fantasy XIV beta weekend. See you next time.